Good morning, children. I hope you have seen the previous video where I have discussed about the unitary government and the federal government. The unitary government enjoys the powerful authority, and usually this government is good for the smaller states. I have mentioned about few points related to federal government, that means division of power among the central and state government, but the powerful authority lies with the central authority, the central government. Their powers are being divided among the three organs: legislative, executive, and judiciary. In this video, I'll be completing in depth about the federal government. So before coming to the federal government, I'm going to explain you the example of the unitary states. And the best example of the unitary states is United Kingdom. Let's start with that. Now, United Kingdom as a unitary state. Here, they have given the example ki how come United Kingdom is the best example of the unitary state. Now, the UK is a unitary state. All powers are in the hands of the single central government. The laws made by the British Parliament apply to all people and places of the UK. Always remember that keep the laws made by the British Parliament applying to all the people and places of the United Kingdom. The British Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers use all executive power. The British judiciary is a single hierarchical organized judiciary in the whole of UK. That means I have already mentioned single judiciary, single executive. There are several well-organized local government which perform civic functions in the local area. The local government, however, derive their power from the central government and work under the laws of the British Parliament. Now, the British Parliament is sovereign and it can make or unmake or amend any law which applies to all the people and places of UK. That's why I've already mentioned in one feature of the unitary government, that is, it is neither written nor unwritten. Right? It is quite flexible. Very easily, the central government can make amendments in the constitution. It can easily amend any and every part of the UK constitution. British Supreme Court has no power to declare any law of the Parliament unconstitutional and void. That means null and void. That means the whole authority lies with the central government. Done, everyone? And all the local units in United Kingdom derive their powers from the central authority. And the best example is United Kingdom. Done. Now let's start with the features of the United Kingdom. Now, there is a single central government with all the legislative, executive, and judicial power. The British political system is categorized by a single executive, single legislature, and single judiciary for the whole country. Local government operating in all local areas of the UK derive their power from the central government. There exists no division of power between the central and local government. Under a single central parliament and a single central executive, there is a system of single uniform system of law and administration in the whole country. That means the law relies in the hands of the central authority. There is a single unwritten and very flexible constitution of the UK. United Kingdom, can very easily amend the constitution because it hardly takes time and the whole authority lies with the central authority. The British Parliament enjoys the power to amend the constitution by passing a law or by a simple majority of votes of the member of its two houses. Very easily they can amend their constitution by making the law, and they can pass by a simple majority of the votes of the member of the two houses. The laws of the British Parliament govern all people, places, institutions, and all public organization and administration. That means it is a perfect example of the unitary government. That means all laws, whether it is passed by the British Parliament, it has to govern all people, places, institutions, and all public organization and administration. Thus, you can say that UK is the best example of the unitary state. Again, I have given you the revision of the unitary state, which I have already given you in the previous video. So yes, it is there in your syllabus. You have to read in depth about the United Kingdom as a unitary state. So again, I revise. I have chalked out few points here. Laws apply to all people and places. The British PM and Council have all the executive power. I hope you people have understood. The judiciary, single hierarchical authority. Local government derive powers from the central government and laws. The constitution does not enjoy supreme power. Laws can be amended. Parliament is a sovereign body, internally, externally free from control, but still it is not beyond the British Parliament. Right? Now, the Parliament is sovereign. Everyone knows Parliament is at the supreme authority under United Kingdom. Supreme Court has no power beyond the Parliament. Now, here, one more thing. Supreme Court has no power, though it enjoys as a court related duties, but it should not go beyond the power of the British Parliament. Parliament is sovereign, internally, externally, free from control. It is having a central authority, right, over everything. I hope so people have understood now. Let's move on to the another form of government, that is the federal state. Is that clear? The government, how come government is being implemented in such form of states? Let's start with that. Let's move to another slide. Now, federal state or a federation. First of all, let me clear you about this title, right? The federal, what is a federal state? Now, a federal state or a federation is a state with one central government and several state government existing side by side. Always remember, it is a state with one central government and several state government existing side by side. In other words, in a federation, there is a division of power between one central government and several state government, each of which work at the provincial level. Each is autonomous, free from control, and uses its power within its allotted sphere of powers and function. Right, everyone? The best example of is USA, India, Switzerland, Australia, Canada, Pakistan, Russia, right? And in fact, all large and big states are federal states. So I hope so you people have understood what you mean by federal state or a federation. In a federation, there's a division of power between one central and several state government, each of which work, always remember, at the provincial level. Now, the term federation stands derived from the Latin word fidus, which means agreement or a treaty. Always remember that the term federation means the agreement or a treaty. As for example, like I'm going to give you the example, like USA is a federation. It was originally formed by the 13 small states which secured independence from the British imperialism. Everyone knows it was under British Empire and thus entered into an agreement to form the United States of America. Now United States of America is having 50 states, right? Initially it was started with the 13 small states. Now, every federation is a division of power between one central government on the one hand and several state government on the other, right? Like as we have seen, if you see the best definition is being given by Montesquieu. That means the federal government is a convention. Convention means the agreement by which several similar and smaller states agree to become members of the larger one. I hope so people have understood now what do you mean by federal state or a federation. I simply mentioned few points. The division of power between the central and state government. It is autonomous and uses power within the limitation of the constitution. That means it's not like that the central dominate over the state or state dominate over central authority. No, not like that. There are powers, they are being equally divided, right? And all are written where in the constitution. They are not going to go beyond the constitution. If they goes, everything will become null and void, right? According to Montesquieu, agreement by which a smaller state agree to become members of the larger one. And again, the best example is USA, Germany, Russia, Spain, Brazil, Canada, and Australia. Then I hope so everyone has understood now. So that means this definition clearly show that the federation system of government in which the constitution of the state divides all power between one central government and several state government, right? And each of which exercises power in its allotted sphere and its allotted work, right? They are not going to move beyond that. Clear, everyone? Let's move on to the another slide. Now let's come on to the features. Now I've already mentioned these features now: division of power, written constitution, rigid constitution, supremacy of the federal constitution, impartial supreme judiciary, dual administrationship, dual citizenship, bicameral legislature, equality of all federating states. So I'll be explaining one on one basis, right? So let's start with the division of power. Now what do you mean by that? The division of power between the central government on the one hand and the state government on the other is an absolutely essential condition of a federation. In it, one part of the authority and power of the state is vested with the central government and the rest is vested with the state government. Each work within a defined sphere of function. The function of the national importance which concern all the people of the state are vested with whom? With the central government. Whereas the local and regional functions are in the hands of the state government. For example, the administration of the subject like defense, foreign are under the union government, and the subjects like the local administration, prisons, education are given to the state government. So I hope so people have understood that there is a division of power between the central government on one and the state government on the other hand. Right now, each work within a definite and defined sphere of function. Right, everyone's function is being cleared and everyone is moving on to the functions. Now, if the function is related to national importance, it has been given to the central government, right? And if it is given to the local government, then those functions are as administration, prisons, education, irrigation, right? They are being given to the local government. Now, if you see, like, if you see the example, in example, the US Constitution is specify the power of the federal government, give all the other power to the state government. Now, if you see, there are different constitutions of the world, right? Like in American Constitution, they have given the power to the state government, but in Indian Constitution, they have given more power to the union government and otherwise, and the power of state government like maybe state list, right, concurrent list they have given. I mean, they have already divided the subjects in Indian Constitution. Those subjects we have already studied in civics in class 10. Those subjects are we have the subjects, and these subjects are being divided among the union government, state government, and as well as the other form of government. That means other forms of government. That means few subjects are there. There has to be a sharing among on these subjects among the state central government and the state government. Right, everyone? Like if you see like power of state government, concurrent power which are available in common to both the union and the state, also vests the residuary power with the union, like parliament has a control over residuary power. Then union list contain the list of subjects under the union jurisdiction. Then the state list specify the subjects under the jurisdiction of each state government, and the concurrent list contains subjects over which both the union and state can legislate. We have already started. I hope so people have understood now. Next, the written constitution. Clear? Now, in a federal constitution, there has to be affected a division of power. It becomes essential to do so in writing, and in order to make it definite and binding upon both the center and the federating state, it has to be in a written form. Right? If they wanted this power to be binding, to be properly implemented, then they have to write. Clear? So that must be written and enacted constitution. Only then it can effect the division of power in a successful and efficient manner. Clear? Next, rigid constitution. Now, federal constitution has to be a written and rigid constitution because it is to be kept immune from unilateral amendments on the part of the central or state. The rigid means that it has to be a rigid constitution. No one would dare to change it, first of all. Right? Rules are rules. And if they want to make changes, there has to be a proper amendment. And everyone knows how our constitution can be amended by passing with a simple majority in both the houses, and passing the resolution with a simple majority in both the houses, and that is not very easy. Clear? Only the central government and the state government together can have the power to amend the constitution. Clear? So that in order to maintain stability of the federal system, there is a prescribed a special method of making the amendment in the constitution. Next, supremacy of the federal constitution of federation. The constitution of the federal state is the supreme law of the land. Both the central government and the state government derive their power from the constitution. Right? They always work within their own sphere written for them by the federal constitution. I hope you people have understood in a federation. The constitution of the federal state is supreme law of this land. Right, everyone? Like this law is a supreme law. That is, whatever written is written in the constitution, it is the supreme law. Right? No law move beyond that law. They have to follow. Next, impartial supreme judiciary. In a federation, judiciary perform the role of protecting the supremacy of the constitution. This is done by exercising of the power of judicial review over the laws of the central and state government. Any law which is found to be against the constitution gets rejected at the hands of the judiciary. So everyone knows who is the protector of the constitution. It is the Supreme Court. And Supreme Court enjoys which function over it? The judicial review. We have already done in civics in class 10, right? Supreme Court enjoys its judicial review. It reviews all laws, central law and state law, and it checks whether they are being followed under the jurisdiction, under the guidance of the constitution. If they are not being followed well, those laws will be declared null and void. Right? Let's move on to the another. Then dual administration. A federation categorized by dual administration, uniform administration of the central government for all the people of the federation, and the state administration which are run by the government of federating units. So everyone knows dual government, two government. right? Next, dual citizenship. In a federation, each individual gets double citizenship, one common uniform citizenship of the whole state, and second of the province or the state in which he or she is the native. Where America is the best example, though we have the single citizenship. India is enjoying a single citizenship. But yes, federation state can enjoy the dual citizenship. Right now, another feature, bicameral legislature. Now, in a federation, the legislature of the federal government is made bicameral. In one house, the people of the federation are given representatives, while in the second house, a unit of the federation are given representation on the basis of equality. Very best example is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Right, a federal state has a bicameral legislature because one house represents the people of the federal state and the second house represent the interest of the states of the federal states. Clear, everyone? Now, next, equality of all federating states. One of the key underlying principle of federation is equality of all federating states. All states or federation are equal without any consideration of size, population, and resources. Right? It is because of this requirement that all states are given equal number of seats in the two houses of the central legislature or union legislature. Clear, everyone? Now, the best example of federating states in the work, you have India, America, Germany, Mexico, right? Next, let's move on to another slide. So I hope so people have understood what are the features of the federal state. So we have division of power, written constitution, rigid constitution, supremacy, impartial, dual administration, dual citizenship, bicameral legislature, equality of all federating states. Done. Let's move on to the another slide. Let's move on to the that. Now, federation. So I'm going to tell you about the merits and demerits of the federation, right? One-on-one basis. First, merits and demerits. So it make you more clear. What is the federation all about? If you come to the merits, merits, advantages of federation are, now see, the federation is the most suitable system for every big state. Always remember. In fact, almost all big state of our time, with the few exceptions like China, have adopted federalism. Always remember. Then federation constitute the only hope for the small state of the world to combine to secure the gains of union and yet maintain their individual and autonomous entities, right? Entities or identities. Clear, everyone? Here, small states can enjoy their autonomous power, yet they can very well remain under the control over of the central government. So this is very good for the small states. They can very well easily enjoy their autonomy by coming under federation. Clear? Now, federation constitute the best possible mean to secure strength and autonomy of the for the small state. Now, by uniting into federation, these states can secure their security against possible external threats. Next, federalism involve a division of work between the federal government and several state government of the federating unit. Now, the national government concentrate upon the task of satisfying the common national needs and the goals of development, and the state government concentrate upon the satisfaction of the local needs. So here, if you see, all responsibilities are being divided well among the central government and the state government. Here, the small states cannot have the domination of the bigger states. Clear? Because they entered into the federation. As everyone knows, federation means division of power among the central and the state, where state enjoys its authority and central enjoys its authority. Clear? Now, a federal system is indeed a truly democratic system. It divides power between the central and the state government, and as such ensures a democratic decentralization of power. Each government works within its limited and clearly defined sphere of power, right, as mentioned by the Constitution. Clear? Now, next, if you see next advantage, now the principle of unity in diversity as its backbone. Right? If you see, the best example is India. India is a federation state where, if you see, unity in diversity. The federation makes it possible for the state with social, cultural, linguistic, religious, and regional diversities to maintain themselves as a state. Right? The federation constitute the best means for harmonizing these diversities with the need for national unity. The self-government at the regional or the local help the diverse interests to get satisfied without in any way restraining the unity and integrity. Right? Here, state can very well manage their unity and integrity as well. All states having different culture, different linguistic groups, different regional groups, right? But they do enjoy under the federation. This is the best merit. This is the best advantage ever we have. Next, the best part is it is a natural form of organizing a state. That means federation. The last scale, the popular political scientist. And what he has done, what he did, what he has said, Lasker described federation as a natural form of organizing a state. Next, federation constitute the best school of political education. Now, working of several government within a federation ensures greater participation of the people in the political process, being based upon the democratic principles of decentralization, equal and free participation of all the people, limited government, and unity in diversity. The federation acts as an excellent school of political education. It educates the public politically because in one house public elect, in another house the state legislative assembly members may elect. So your public can very easily participate. It is the best example of the democratic government. So I hope so everyone has understood the merits. Now come on to the demerits now. Now the demerits. In the first, if you see, the division of power between the center and state can be a source of big weakness. Now how it can be a source of big weakness, the central government without the full support of the state government often finds difficult to implement its policies, programs and decisions. The state government very often find themselves burdened with central interference and the lack of helping hand of the central government, right? If you see in particular, it proves to be a big hindrance in the way of meeting external and internal emergencies, because obviously the states and central, there's a very difficult procedure. Again, they have to meet and conduct the meetings, right? However, it is quite easy for the unitary state to have at the time of emergencies the meetings. Clear everyone? Now the division of power between center and state keeps their relation strained due to the rise of conflicts, disputes and deadlocks regarding the respective sphere of activity. Often there are bitter contests regarding the jurisdiction of the two government. The issue of center-state relation always unduly consume their energy. Always the disputes are there among the central and state government. The best example is are the good and service taxes, right? GST. Then the division of power always lead to the division of responsibility, which really leads to the destruction of responsibility. Next, if you see, the federal system is usually a rigid system because the process of amendment of the constitution is a difficult one. If you see, it is not possible for the federation to easily solve many such problems as the need of the constitutional amendment for their resolution cannot be easily met. Then, even the supporters of federalism admit that it is a very expensive system. Within the federation, several set of legislatures, the executives, and judiciary are at work, which are a big source of complexities and a strain. Then the principle of unity in diversities and unity with autonomy are in actual practice always a source of regionalism in the political life of the federation. The particular interests pursued by the federative federal units are often in conflict with the general and national interest being pursued by the central government. Clear everyone? And if you see regional loyalties, racial, linguistic, and religious differences almost remain uppermost in the minds of the people, and the forces of disintegration are almost at work in a federation. If you see the particular interest, see again, I repeat, the principles of unity is diversity and the union with autonomy are in actual practice always a source of regionalism. And obviously, the narrow mindedness in the political life of the federation is very difficult to maintain unity and diversities. Always a problem may arise. Right, the particular interests pursued by the federating unit, if you see, are often in conflict with the general and national interest being pursued by the central government. So I hope so people have understood till here the merits and demerits of the federal government. Clear everyone? Like again, the merits suitable for big states, small states, secure, strength, truly democratic government system, maintain social, cultural, linguistic, religious, and regional diversities, natural form of organizing a state, best school of political education. That's quite big. Then demerits, weakness of the in the division of power, rise of conflicts, destruction of responsibility, rigid system, regionalism, parochialism, narrow-mindedness always occur. Like if you seek, yes, we have unity in diversities, but in reality, it is not being implemented properly. Clear everyone? The principles of unity in diversity and union with autonomy are in actual practice always a source of regionalism in the political life of the federation. Clear? Always, I hope so everyone is understood till here. Now the demerits, we have weakness in the division of power, rise of conflicts, disputes, and always remember disputes of central state relations. Who is going to solve the dispute? The Supreme Court. This we have already done, right? Then rigid system, expensive system. Till here, in the next video, till here, try to listen to the video attentively. In the next video, I'll be again explaining more things. Clear everyone? Now till here, I have already mentioned in depth about the federal government. In the previous video, I have mentioned in depth about the unitary government, right? So pay attention to the video carefully.